A look at the flooding in Pakistan. Donors have pledged more money for flood-stricken Pakistan following appeals at an emergency meeting of the United Nations General Assembly. Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi said he had been assured that the United Nations target of $460 million would be easily met.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon told the emergency session that the floods were like a slow-motion tsunami. The monsoon-triggered floods have affected about one-fifth of Pakistan. An estimated 20 million people are affected, and experts say shelter, food and clean water are urgently needed to avert humanitarian catastrophe. Before the meeting at the UN headquarters in New York, Mr. Ban said not even half of the $460 million target need for initial relief had been raised, and the response remained slow. The US, already the biggest donor, announced it would contribute another $60 million, bringing its total to more than $150 million. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said about $92 million would go to the UN's appeal. The EU has also increased its pledge to more than $180 million, and the UK is nearly doubling its contribution to almost $100 million. Germany has raised its aid to $32 million, and Mr. Qureshi said Saudi Arabia was pledging more than $100 million. Pakistan also announced that it had accepted a $5 million donation from India a week after the offer was made. Relations between both countries have been tense recently over the disputed region of Kashmir. However, the World Food Programme said on Friday that it urgently needed more helicopters to get food aid to millions of people cut off by floodwaters. Addressing the UN earlier, Pakistan Foreign Minister Mr. Qureshi warned that unless his country received adequate assistance, hard-won gains in the government's war against insurgents could be undermined. Pakistan is a key ally in the US-led war against militants in neighboring Afghanistan. Islamabad has assured Washington and its allies that troops fighting in the insurgency in the north-west of the country have not been deployed to the relief efforts. But correspondents say suffering and social chaos caused by the floods could play into the militants' hand. At least 1,500 people have died in the floods, which began in north and have swept south towards the sea, destroying roads and bridges, flooding farmland and knocking out power stations. Tens of thousands of villages remain underwater.
Now to look at some news where rain is bringing happy news. Heavy rain drenches Moscow today, helping firefighters battle the remaining wildfires on the city's outskirts. A cold front that hit western Russia has ended the 2-month heat wave and cleared skies over the city that until recently was enduring a suffocating smog. Temperatures in the city fell from 32 degrees Celsius to 9 degrees Celsius in 2 days. The Emergency Situation Ministry reported new success on Friday in the battle against the country's forest and peat bog fires. They now cover some 9,000 hectares, less than a 20th of the territory they covered earlier this month. President Dmitry Medvedev lifted the state of emergency in Moscow region today and 2 other provinces that had been affected by the fires. Ryazan region is still under the state of emergency, but that is expected to be lifted over the weekend, Emergency Situations Minister Sergei Shoigu said. Iran's defense minister says military forces have successfully test-fired a missile that enhanced guidance systems to hit ground targets. General Ahmad Wahidi did not say when or where the test was carried out, but Wahidi's comments come a day before the start-up operations at the Bushehr nuclear power plant in southern Iran could raise Western fears about another advance in Iran's missile arsenal, which already can target Israel and other parts of the region. Wahidi told worshippers ahead of Friday prayers at Tehran University that the liquid-fuel missile named Laim-1 has an approved targeting system to strike with higher precision.